Hi, castmates. Welcome back to another episode of Reality Right After. My name is Wellington Gomez. I am your host and founder of the Reality Rundown, and I'm here with my EP, of course, every week. Hi, Ricky.
Hey, y'all.
And today we have a special guest, friend of the brand, commentator of all things Real Housewives. Hi, Thomas.
What's going on, fam? How y'all doing?
We're so excited to have you back. Your takes are so real.
They are.
I'm excited to be here.
I know. Are you excited? Are you excited to talk about Beverly Hills?
Yes, I'm excited to talk about Beverly Hills. You know, we was trying to get this in-person situation going when I was in Jersey, so I'm glad we were able to get the digital one. But the in-person one is going to come soon or later. But yes, I'm excited to talk about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I love seeing the evolution of this show. From when I very first started watching, I was not a season 1 watcher. I was a season 10 watcher when Garcelle came on, and even just the evolution of the show from then. But it made me go back and watch the opulence and the grandeur of Beverly Hills before, and to see a little bit of the falling from grace, but I love to see, we'll get into a little bit of, the things. But yes, I'm excited.
So you went back and watched the Dinner Party from Hell?
Absolutely. I had to go see Yolanda Hadid. I had to go see, and see the girls that was really making the show in the Lisa Vanderpump era of it all. So yes.
I've had enough of you beast. My girl here.
No, honestly, Beverly Hills was a really good show. Like, it really, I'm not gonna lie, I think up to Garcelle, up to Erica Jane's season, because I will say Erica Jane's like takedown season was one for the books.
It was.
I think up till then it was solid. Like, this show has, because it was legendary at the beginning. It was legendary through the little transition that they had in when the Brandys of the world came in, the Lisa Rinnas of the world, the Eileens of the world. And then even later on with Teddy, Denise, like it still kept some type of like platform, like, we are those girls and we're still giving the girls what they want. So yeah, Beverly Hills has definitely been a favorite for me. But season 14 has been, I have liked season 14 so far. I think it's good to see this dynamic between Kyle and Dorit. Like, I've been waiting for a Kyle versus Dorit season. I'm glad that it looks like we're going to get it all season. Dorit and Kyle, specifically in the episode 4, they clash at dinner, rehashing years of grievances between their friendships, including a 6-month fallout over a joke and Kyle shading Dorit's business. Dorit calls Kyle a shitty friend, but they later apologize and they try to reconcile a little bit. What do you think about Dorit and Kyle right now as what we see, Thomas?
Yeah. So great question to start off. I think what we're seeing is the fans influencing the show. And I think because there was a interview that Dorit had did right after season 13 where they asked her if she saw the cries from the fans asking her to return to her former self, and I think she came on the show season 7 or something, and they were like, where was Dorit that was getting into it with all the girls who didn't kind of fall in line, and she said that she heard the fans, and we'll see what happens next season. So I think that we're starting to see a little bit of them wanting to break course, with also the removal of Teddy, the removal of Lisa Rinna, that Fox Force 5 being dismantled. You starting to see like, no, I have to really show up for work, so right. That's what we're starting to see. As far as that dynamic is concerned, this is the first time that I see a fall from grace from Kyle as an OG. I think she is grasping for straws to try to have something to stand on in relation to an argument with Dorit. If she's not going to hold the same grudge against Erica because she might be potentially scared of her, then there's no reason to try to attack Dorit as if Dorit's not going to give it back to you. Dorit's long-windedness does not play in her favor at the first part of this episode and in this dinner. It drags on for far too long for me, and it doesn't seem as if either of them are getting to the point, right? Kyle opened up the floor at the end of that last episode saying, hey, I don't want things to be awkward between us. I kind of want to get a moment to talk. And then Dorit kind of took that as a moment to like shoot daggers, Right. And so I think they weren't on the equal fighting battlefield at that moment. I think one showed up to the gunfight with the knife, and the other one came up ready to blow the other's head off.
Ricky, any thoughts on Kyle and Dorit?
Yeah, I think what happens with them, and it's like a microscope of friendship in general, where people expect some sort of like blind loyalty, or you can't have a public opinion about me that I'm not trying to put out by myself. And I think that Kyle should have just said, I didn't like the shit you said, and I didn't see it for you. And that's just what it was. You pissed me off. I was mad at you. I didn't see it for you. But I feel like they're both making it this like grandiose thing. And I'm waiting for them to tell me like what happened that you guys are so mad at each other. And I feel like what they're saying doesn't add up to like the vitriol. So it's annoying to me. Like I get it. You know, I get Dorit. Like you got mad at me. You stopped talking to me. And instead of you just saying that, you're saying all of this stuff that doesn't make sense, sis. Like, can we move on? I love you, sister. Kisses and hugs. Let's move forward. Kyle's just, but also I feel like to Thomas's point, Kyle just really aggravates me with the fakeness. Like she just really aggravates me with the aloof. I don't really know what's going on. I'm mad at you, but I'm not. Like, girl, what's happening? What's going on? Are you okay? You know? So I feel like maybe that's the culture of them. You know, it's different from our culture and how we handle conflict, but it's like really annoying to me. Like I hate talking around the elephant in the room. What are you mad about?
Right.
It makes it something they're not telling us. You know what I mean?
And I also just say really quickly that I also think that dredging up Teddy's name is just, I'm so sick of it. And I don't know if it's a ploy to get her back on the show in the way in which Candy brought Kenya onto the season finale of Real Housewives because Fancy did that journey. But I don't think that we need to be bringing Teddy's name up for whatever reason. We know she's thirsty for the cameras. She wants this divorce to play out in front of it. They're not bringing you back, sis. So I want them not to continue to keep discussing her. And Kyle to try to say that Dorit didn't defend Teddy, which is the reason why she's upset with her. No, ma'am. That's not becoming of an OG. I'm so sorry.
Right. Also, no shade. You're making on-season, on-camera stuff. You're mad about something that literally does not even have to do with someone that's on this cast. Why are we even bringing this up? No shade. Like, leave Teddy in Teddy world, in Teddy land.
I understand that, and I received that. But what did I do to you? Let's talk about that.
Like, Teddy's not on this show to bring up this grievance. So what are we talking about here? Why are you bringing up what, like, even I feel like even producers like, hey, Kyle, I know this is your 14th season, mama, but dust off those, honey.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Anyways, Garcelle wanted to stand right next to Kyle. I find this, I love my mother, but I find this alliance with Kyle, who she felt the same way about just how she feels about Dorit, very convenient and not real when it comes to Garcelle and Kyle. I feel like Garcelle is trying to just connect with Kyle because I feel like it's easy for her to clearly end Dorit with this little alliance with Kyle. But you literally did not give a fuck about Kyle or like Kyle. Just last season, you had a lunch with her to let her know that she's basically racist and has ignorant views, and you told her that, and you think the same about Dorit. So I find it weird that she's somehow wanting to have a relationship with Kyle, but still being so on top of Dorit because Dorit is ignorant, you know? I find that, like, how does Kyle get a pass, but Dorit, you're still on top of Dorit? Anyways.
I think, and just to answer that question, I think it's a key detail that's missing from there is that when Garcelle expressed grievances to the group about how she didn't feel comfortable bringing her kids around, Dorit was the one that said, is this still an issue? Made it seem as if like there was a statute of limitation for how she should feel in relation to her son. And no one else did that, right? But how are we supposed to tell Dorit that she should immediately move on from a fake robbery?
Like that.
You can't tell a mother that she should get over what happened to her child, and she's still trying to show up in this group, and she's still trying to be a part of it. And it's not like she's not trying. It's not like she's like, oh, F these bees. I don't want to be a part of this anymore. I'm still trying. I'm trying to extend the olive branch. I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. Erica, I'm saying that it was your meds and you trying to balance your alcohol. I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt, knowing that you're not in your right state of mind. But Dorit's like, girl, get over it.
Right.
No.
And there's also, I feel like from Garcelle being on the show, there's always been an undercurrent of these girls, whether passive aggressively, nice, nastily, coming against Garcelle, whether it's not defending her or leaving her out to dry. She started to have allies further into her, relationship on the show, but it didn't start out that way. And so, and of that, and I hate to bring it here, but I will, just because it's on here, that undercurrent of like racism and hostility, passive aggressive hostility that she experienced on the show. I feel like Dorit was the mouthpiece for it. So I'm gonna whack her every chance I get. I would never let that. Me personally. Yeah.
Right.
Remember when Dorit screamed at Garcelle at the reunion and said, "Garcelle, let me talk," and Garcelle was like, "Go ahead." And it was like a episode, not a interview later. She was like, "She will never yell at me like that again." Dorit would have never raised her voice to any of the other girls. So I just think it is a thing with Dorit. I think that we can't give Dorit a pass because.
But I want her to stop playing, like end her. You know what I'm saying? Like, like if you're gonna whack her, whack her. Like,
I feel like the people attacking Garcelle is not because of what we think it is. They love an opportunity to dogpile on Garcelle.
They did want an opportunity to get Garcelle, but I will say that Garcelle is starting to punch down now, and it's starting to look a certain way when Dorit's not acknowledging you and you're punching down on her in confessionals. You're trying to say, "Oh, why aren't you?" So I'm pretty sure you how to get this on later in the show, but when you're asking, "Oh, well, we want to get to know Bose. Why are you hogging up all Bose?" And you're trying to create this relationship. But I'm also not stupid to not think that Dorit, you had a problem with the only black girl in your cast, and now this new black girl because you have no.
And now you want to be besties. Right.
Now you're trying to get close to her, and it's convenient that Bose is a black woman. So now you can say, "I'm not racist" or "I'm not prejudiced," because
we have to say those things because those things are literally what's playing out on camera.
Is ahead of that. Like, I know she's racist, and I'm not going to take my foot off her neck. I don't care what y'all say. And I think that's her position. Go ahead, Fancy.
Very, 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 very interesting. Well, Garcelle accuses Dorit of having insincere apologies, leading to another heated exchange between them because Dorit's like, "Excuse me?" And she's like, "Yeah, I don't really think that you know how to say sorry." And Dorit's like, "Well, I kind of expect you to feel that way about me." And Garcelle is basically like, "Well, I'm glad that we are in the same page when it comes to that." Dorit claims that Garcelle dislikes her, ending their argument with a lingering tension between the both. I think that at this reunion, we need to emphasize Dorit versus Garcelle and let's put it to rest. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if both women come back next season, I don't really care to see this going on. So at this reunion, let's have this big blowout. Let's tell each other what we really need to tell each other and how we really feel about each other and leave it on the floor, whatever it is. And Garcelle, stop being so scared. I saw an interview that Garcelle did where she felt like being the first black housewife on Beverly Hills was hard for her, specifically because she didn't know how to present herself at first. Being the first and only at the time was hard because it's like, damn, like I'm the only one, so I have to represent so many women. And I'm only myself, and I might not represent all of them. So she felt that there were certain situations where she didn't react authentically because she kept thinking of her representation on this show and what that meant. So I want her to step out of that, and I want her to really be like, just legitimately be yourself. And if
she's doing that now, and they dragging her for it,
and because she took too long, it's 5 seasons in. You know what I'm saying? Like,
as a black housewives, go on Ultimate Girls Trip and see how Kenya got Ramona together. What's her name? Kenya was not playing with them.
Kenya was not playing with them.
But she did. I don't see it for her, but
at all.
She got the Ramona.
I can never give her a 10, but she ate that one.
I can never give you a 10. I don't like it.
Or an 8. No, but I just want to see Garcelle kind of like have her, her like ending a girl moment. I feel like she always keeps it very surface. We kind of saw it with Erica a little bit last season when she was like, "Well, you don't need my help making yourself look crazy," and she will kind of go at it. But I want to see her end the bitch. Erica expresses concern of Dorit's emotional state, believing she's scared but unwilling to admit it. Dorit leans into Erica for support. I see Erica playing the fence a lot this season between Dorit and Kyle. Do you think that she's gonna be able to play this fence all season, or do you think that it's gonna come to a certain point where like she has to really pick a side?
I see what you're saying about the Erica thing, because I noticed it on the after show. And when she would have a certain opinion and then Kyle would say something different and then she would say, oh, what? I was like, I'm not really feeling that, Miss Girardi, Miss Jane, whatever you go by these days. So I don't know if she's going to be able to straddle that fence at the reunion, but I will say that I think her allegiance lies with Kyle more than Dorit. So if there is a side to be chosen, she'll choose Kyle's.
You think the same thing, Ricky?
I do.
I think it's crazy though, because I feel like I wish that Erica was doing more of an effort to bring them together. Like I feel like because you guys are part of this Fox Force 5, whatever it was back then, and you guys were supposed to be like the three besties. What?
Go ahead, you do that every time.
Oh my god. So me thinking that they were so close, I thought that, you know, Erica was gonna be on some, y'all fix it. Like I'm gonna lock y'all into this room and y'all are not going to like walk out of here until y'all fix it. And I feel like when it comes to even them trying to fix it, she's very playing the fence and not really getting into it. Like she's really just letting them have their moment and whatever that is and however that comes out. I find that interesting when it comes
I think
to
because she had that takedown season that you mentioned earlier in the show, I think she's kind of like, listen, everybody needs their moment. So if this is the moment where these two bitches fall out, then this is this moment where these two bitches fall out. Because
she specifically wants that.
Yeah, when I was hung out to dry, no one saved me. No one sent me a lifeboat or a rafter or pulled me in from to the shore. So I'm gonna let you bitches run this shit ragged, which is why she had no problem getting up on that BravoCon stage and saying that the Reed and PK's relationship would be over next. Which she was. I mean, she might need to. I might need her to be my palm because
right.
You was spot on. You hear me close that.
That was a gag, and then you understand why the Reed was so pissed because it's like, bitch, that wasn't supposed to be out yet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's my next season storyline, and you're over here soft launching it at BravoCon when the current season's not even over yet. Girl, pump the brakes. So
she might know the real tea behind that robbery. That's why she's saying that.
That's what I really want to know. Because everybody trying to make Garcelle seem like the bad person for at least saying that, like, I didn't know about the jewelry until like Dorit still had hers after the robbery. And that is a very regular observation, right? You're saying that they stole bags from you that you didn't like anymore. Well, how would you know unless someone coordinated with the robbers to take specific items? What robbery leaves your phone at the gate? Like, let's just think about it. Like, this is television, yes. So there is an era of kind of like mystique and
like
stuff
anything can happen.
Yeah, you know, but let's be grounded in the reality of it all. Mm-hmm. That if someone is truly robbing you, they're not giving a flying F what they're taking, who they're shooting, they're not giving you that. So it was weird that a lot of viewers probably had the same thought of Garcelle, like, hold on, this isn't adding up. Right. Yeah. And so how are we supposed to believe this to be true? And so with PK also being gone for months at a time, like who's married and you're living overseas for half of the year? Like BFFR, like it was going to come out at some point. Right. So let's just be, and I hate that they had to be forced into doing so, because even the sit down that Dorit had with PK and saying they're not going to talk 5 times a day came off contrived to me. So I don't know what to make of it all with them. But I will say that Dorit has someone's foot on her neck and she is doing anything to get it off.
Well, I don't know if you guys heard this, but on Carlos King's podcast, he said that he has heard from a close source that Dorit had a meeting with Lisa Rinna right before the season started, and that Lisa Rinna told her, listen, like if you're going to come back to the show, you have to do a gun blazing because you're on the chopping block and you know that. And supposedly that's the reason why Dorit went to talk to Lisa Rinna because she heard that she was on the shopping block and she wanted advice. And Lisa Rinna told her the only way to not get yourself on the shopping block is to literally leave it on the floor. Which is why you see Dorit going so hard specifically on Kyle, which she knows the fans have been wanting her to attack. And then also, which is why Kyle has that reaction towards her at the beginning of the season where she's like, I don't even recognize you right now. Like, why are you turning up so much? Like, did I miss the memo that we spoke about this? Is because Dorit was allegedly about to get fired or even demoted to a friend of this season. Instead, she's telling everybody that she comes into contact that PK is an alcoholic and deranged and needs rehab, and that, and going crazy about Kyle. So when you think about that, it does make an interesting point to the fact that maybe everything is contrived and this is just because I know that this is what will make a good season. But let's see how it plays out when it comes to Beverly Hills, honey. At the end of the episode, we saw that Sutton did a little ritual between all of the girls, trying to create a sisterhood moment. Some of the girls was not really feeling it. I feel like Sutton, she takes too long to get to like her little moments that she's trying to have, and she does her little quirkiness and like, I'm like, girl, speak. She like, have y'all noticed that? Have y'all noticed that? She'll be like,
Wait, do it again. Do it again.
I'm done.
Yo, she'll literally be like, I have something to tell you guys. And they're all like, can you talk?
Yo, I hate people who take a long time to tell a story. Please. Help.
But like, she has reactions to her reactions. She's having physical reactions to what she's saying in her head. And then like, it's stopping her dialogue and everybody's just like, what is going on? Anyways, so they're all mocking her and she's like, I wrote this from the heart, so I would hope that you guys will pay attention to it. And she bonds them with a little robe, and she says this little cute little friendship thing. Anyways, we'll see how this plays out in Beverly Hills. But moving on to the next coast, Potomac.
Well, I just want to touch on that Sutton thing, because you were spot on with that when it comes to her reactions. I think she will never be a top tier reader, because if she digests the information, then she gags herself a little bit and then responds. You can never have that type of delayed reaction. You have to get back to the girls immediately. And I will say there was something in the after show that I had watched that I think that Bose is really smart. And I love how she analyzes the girls, and she's able to just kind of sit back and be an objective person and just see how everyone's role is and what it looks like in the group. And there's something to be said about Sutton. I think she's trying to purport herself to be more important when, ma'am, like, you're like the 5th longest serving housewife on the show at this point,
right?
So, and like the southernness and stuff like that doesn't really bode well in Beverly Hills in the way in which it probably would work in Dallas.
Definitely gives Blanche Devereaux.
Yeah, like, and I love Sutton. I love Sutton. I do miss the Sutton that was. I hope she's still taking her testosterone hormones, because that was when she was giving it to the girls. I need her back on those meds, because she, like, when she was taking her hormones, she was giving it. Let the mouse go, like all of that she was like going, like she had it. And there was something promising there, but I'm starting to see her fall a little flat. And the fact that even in the after show, she got mad at Garcelle and Jennifer Tilly because she was talking about how no one in the group take her seriously, and she was really coming from the heart with that moment. And it was like, sis, you bound our wrists together with a cheap ass satin ribbon that you found from someone's Joann's fabric. We're supposed to say that we're sisters forever because of this moment. BFFR.
Yeah.
Like, I love something, but she tries too hard.
Like, this is reality television. She was trying to have a fictional scripted moment. Like, calm down, Miss Thing. Like, when
she said name them.
Wow, Sutton wanted from that. You remember when the trailer came out for this season and you saw how they opened the trailer with that moment, like, of Sutton reading her message and bonding them, and they made it super dramatic. Sutton wanted from that moment was how they edited in the trailer, but then we saw it play out and it didn't happen like that. That's literally what Sutton wanted. So they gave it to you, honey. Kudos to you. Yeah, no, Sutton is crazy. I think that Sutton wants to make it seem like she's mother, but again, you're not mother. Remember, like you've only been here less than you were supposed to come in with Garcelle and couldn't even get your kids to sign on to film, so you had to get the motor. No shade. So like we remember you. You're still one of the kind of like the newbies. No shade. So, but I do think that when new women are introduced to the group, she wants to kind of like, hey, like I'm one of the ones that you have to come and kiss the ring. So I see that for sure.
Speaking of women who want to be mother of their franchise but aren't, moving on to Real Housewives of Potomac and Giselle.
Oh my God. So Ashley and Giselle try speed dating. How excited? Speed dating. Yeah.
Before we talk about Giselle's date, do you think that Ashley particularly chooses to date white men because of her father wound? Because I feel like I never see her try to date like
black men in general.
Black men in general.
I saw that on Twitter, that notion flying around like, oh, I'm not signing up to see Ashley date other white men. I thought that we were liberated from that when in her new storyline divorcing Michael. I don't know. I feel like Ashley is really the type of girl that she sticks to what she knows, and I feel like Ashley has always dated white boys. No shade. If you were willing to date an old white man, that's always been your kink. What do you think, Thomas?
I'm inclined to agree with you. I think even the relationship with Luke that she got in, and it was the less serious relationship that we know her to have, he was white. And so I don't know if it's a daddy issue per se. I don't want to diagnose her with that, but it isn't far off, because we can see kind of like similarities. But I will say I liked the guy that she chose, because it popped up on her story, like it popped up on her Instagram, whatever, that she's still talking to the guy, the young gentleman, I think he's in the early 30s, who had cancer
he's
or something.
Cool.
I like him for her. I really, really like him for her. And I think he is in the same mixed bag of genetics that she is, because he has black somewhere in the lineage.
Yo, you know what's so crazy? I was watching this and I was like, he got something. Is he? But then
you know how they did them little boxes in science classes, giving X. It's given like 5% black in there somewhere.
Do y'all see that TikTok sound when it's like, I think a nigga did this, and it's like,
please.
But it's kind of like the Lotto effect, like after Lotto, like I'm just like, some of these white people, like the moment they have that little darker undertone, I'm like, are you a little black? Like, what's going on?
It's that precious clip. What are you, Italian? Some sort of
there's black in his family.
Sure. Yeah, it's a little mixing and mingling going on.
Yeah, he seemed like a really cool dude. That's why I will excuse this one. But Ashley, like, I'm not about to force her to date whatever she doesn't like. If she has a certain type, but I will definitely, I think.
But I don't know what she doesn't like, because there was a moment when they were talking last season about Vernon Davis, right? The ex-football player that I guess they were friends, and she didn't want to really bring his name to the camera. So she has had dealings with black men before. I just think that, I don't know. I don't want to diagnose her again, but I just think kind of like you said earlier, Wellington, she sticks to what she knows. And overall, the speed dating thing, I think this came seasons too late. I would have loved to see this in like season 4, season 5. When the first rumbling started to happen about Michael and Ashley not really going to reconcile, and then Giselle with Sherman, and then with this fake relationship with Jason, we should have been seeing speed dating this season with Jason or before that. I would have loved to see that earlier in the show for these single women.
Well, I think this was a funny little introduction, because we know that both Giselle and Ashley are going to be on a new show that is a dating show. So I think that was kind of like a little introduction to getting the women used to this, and also seeing them both in that light. Giselle was actually on the Breakfast Club recently, and she shared that she's still talking to this guy, and that this guy is still in the rotation, and that they're still dating. So that they had kind of like a little hiccup, because he got mad at her when she actually left to shoot Love Hotel. And she was like, honey, this bag was secured before you was in the picture, so I'm not about to go not secure the bag because me and you are dating now. Like, I still got to go do this dating show, like whether you like it or not. So supposedly he went MIA after that, but he's back around. I want to see Giselle happy. I low-key want to see Giselle. Like, I want to see Giselle in an actual relationship. I think that's the next. It's hard because I don't want it to be not organic for her, and I don't think she'll give us that. I don't think Giselle is that big of a sellout that she will be with a man that she really doesn't fuck with just for the camera, because I feel like Giselle doesn't do well faking stuff. But I would like to see Giselle in an actual relationship, because I feel like that's what's next for her in her storyline. I don't think there's anything else. Your girls don't live with you no more. Jamal is married with a whole new girl. Candace is not on the show. Robin is not on the show. What else are we gonna see from your personal life? You in a relationship. So Giselle, you need to find a man. And I think Bravo is telling her that too by putting her in a dating show. Wendy shocked her mother by telling her that she has resigned from her position as a professor at Johns Hopkins University. And her mother was not having it whatsoever. What do you think about this, Thomas, and her reaction to Wendy's news?
Yeah, she teased it before. If I want to say her first season on the show in season 5, she said that she doesn't know if she wants to teach anymore at Johns Hopkins. So it's been brewing for a while. I don't think that Wendy telling Susan on camera was the first time that she heard it. Something about Susan's camera time to me doesn't ring real. And I just don't see it for her. I don't like when she's on my screen because she doesn't give me honest, authentic at all. It always gets me. I'm trying to steal the scene of the show, and it's just like, no, ma'am, you're not Mama Joyce. You're not that. You know. So,
do you think someone put her up to it?
Put Wendy up to it?
No, Susan. And by Susan, someone I mean Wendy. I
just think that's how she is. I think a lot of, in my experience, a lot of my African friends, whether they're Nigerian or the Igbo or the Yoruba, their parents get to a certain phase in their life when their kids are successful that they could just say, do whatever, because my child is going to take care of me and my child is going to do this for me. So I don't really need to abide by anybody's rules. I've lived life. I've done this. So I can do and say whatever it is that I want. My daughter's right here, and that's indicative of the way in which Eddie's family came to Wendy's birthday party. She told her, don't go and speak to them because they didn't speak to me. No, like, what are you doing all that for? You
also,
know what I'm saying?
I found it so annoying that she did that on camera because you literally see that they're trying to fix this situation.
And you literally said, I want peace when Wendy said that she was going to invite them to the wedding. So it just seems like every time the camera comes around that Susan just turns it on. And I thought Dorothy was bad. Susan takes the cake, baby.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And I don't think she's getting the Professor coin is not probably a drop. It's probably a drop in the bucket to what she's getting in other avenues. So she's like, do I really want to be reading and grading papers and this and that?
No shade. When was the last active course she taught at Johns Hopkins? Because no shade, the moment she got announced as a housewife, I feel like that little Johns Hopkins relationship was starting to kind of like, I feel like, come to the end, because she was really active in her commentating bag, but I feel like she never really talked about her job, her Johns Hopkins job. And now she's teaching a whole new course at another university, and she's talking about it on red carpets because the course is about reality TV. So like, we never saw her speaking about, well, I'm teaching this course, or, we never saw her grading papers, or I'm stressed because I have a ton of essays that I need to read. So I personally think that she wasn't already teaching, but we know from being collegiate people that there's professors that stay on the website for years inactive, even though they're still registered as professors in the university. So maybe this was just her legally saying that she wasn't no longer going to teach at Johns Hopkins, and not necessarily like, oh my God, the curriculum department had like a goodbye party for Wendy. Like, because it just, I don't know. It didn't feel like this was something that like was going to change her life in a different way, which is why Eddie's like, girl, just do it. You haven't taught a course in 6 years. Just do it. Who cares? Another thing that I found interesting by Susan is that she's just worried about her allowance. That's all she cares about. She's like, honey, I don't give a fuck. As long as you have that allowance at the first of the month, we good. Like, you can do whatever you want. I'm still going to give you your lashings, but as long as you have that allowance. And I really hope Wendy wants to get this show off the ground on YouTube, and I really hope that she does, because she is putting some, regular checks that come in all the time. She's letting them go for media, and media can be so, you never know what can happen. And no shade, Wendy, for her to be on this platform, her show is not doing the numbers that I thought it was going to do. So I really hope that her show really like kicks off, because I do think that Wendy has a lot to share to her audience, especially when she's in that commentator bag. So I really hope it works out for her.
But it's only when she's going to be her real authentic self is when it's going to matter, right? I think she has the Susan syndrome, that she sometimes comes and cuts it on for the camera as well. Like, there has been at least as many personalities as she has degrees that she's brought to this show. Her first personality was Miss 4 Degrees, Address Me by Dr. Wendy. The second one was Happy and Ness, and then this brand new body and this whole new situation. Then it was I'm reading Giselle because she came for me, so now I'm going to be the top dog queen. I got first seat next to Andy and Nicki Minaj. And now it's like, oh, I'm coming into this entrepreneurial bag where my man is selling cannabis, and now I'm going to go off and do like the media thing. We just are always saying, and I'm not saying that it's bad to have different sides of you, but I just think that she is trying to find herself, and unfortunately it's happening on camera and is not coming across the way in which she wants it to come across. For you to be doing, and not saying you can't reconcile with somebody, but for you to return to the scene of a crime in Miami and do a cover shoot for a magazine with Mia, and y'all talk about the fact that now y'all respect each other as women after she physically assaulted you, and you said verbatim on a reunion show that you would never F with her because of that. It doesn't give real. Okay. And that's what I think is getting frustrating when it comes to somebody like Wendy, is that you're so intelligent, but you miss the mark a lot. And I don't think she's caught out enough for it.
I have a take.
Go ahead.
And Thomas, I said this before and on a last show, that I feel like the reason why Potomac is kind of falling flat and it's like we're figuring it out is because this was supposed to be Giselle's takedown season. Now, I don't want Giselle off the show. And I know you don't see it for Candace. But I do think this was the season that Giselle was supposed to pay for her crimes. And because Wendy still desires to be accepted by Giselle and still wants to be friends with these girls, I don't feel like she fell out with Giselle and Robin. I think she was more hurt that they didn't want to be her friend than them actually like perpetrating colorism towards her or any of the other girls. So now that she's in an opportunity where she could have held Giselle accountable, she could have held Mia accountable, she could have really called them to the carpet, them offering her their friendship was enough, more important to her. And that just icks me out about her, because she's an adult and she's smart. And so why would you trade in your dignity for friendship? That's what it feels like to me. Personally.
I can agree with you in that respect. At least when it comes to the Mia thing, I have a different take when it comes to Giselle, only because Giselle and Wendy started as friends, right? It started as friendly, and it only was because of the miscommunication that Ashley did with relaying the message for how Giselle saw it, that Wendy came back into that room and laid Giselle out. And then after that, we started to see so much about their relationship being dismantled in front of the cameras. And I really do think that they liked each other in the beginning. And I really do think that when you like somebody in the beginning, unfortunately, she was being an ally to Candace, which is why I don't see why so many people are just saying, oh, Giselle's a different person because Robin isn't there. She's a different person because the person that continually wanted to attack her every time she got there isn't there either. And so Wendy doesn't feel like she can't have a relationship with Giselle out of betrayal for Candace. And then there is some more leeway because I don't have to go through your bodyguard the way people refer to Robin to try to get to Giselle. I can just cut the BS. And we also don't know to the extent what was shared in that sit down with the two of them. And if she did hold her feet to the fire, because Wendy doesn't give me the person that's just going to, smooth things over and just be like, okay, that doesn't bother me.
Both of them have said that there was a lot cut out of that.
There was a lot of ground cover. So I do think that they had a chance to like go over everything and say like, look, B and this is not cool. I didn't like that you did that. And we just didn't get a chance to see it play out. But to your point about Mia and Wendy, I definitely think that she wanted to, because Mia was in the good graces of the fans last season and before. This season, not so much. So as someone's trying to establish that identity or find out who they are in front of the cameras, it would behoove them in their mind to believe that they should go and make amends with the people. But I don't think Wendy has not came into the show with any real friends in either. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even think Candace was her real friend. They both was at the White House, didn't take no picture together. It's just like,
did you clock
I listen, I clock, especially when it comes to that one girl, I clock everything. But when it comes to Wendy, I was just like, look, it's not given that you had any real friend, because Karen and y'all sat on the same board and she didn't know who you were. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they were saying that you weren't part of Potomac. It just, it just doesn't seem like Wendy really has a place on the show, to be honest to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know, but I do like her presence there. I just hope that she can give us something, because even her birthday party felt fat and she wasn't even seeing that much.
You know what's crazy? Before seeing everything that came out from that birthday party, before seeing it on camera, I thought that it was going to be more than what it came out to be, because so many people made it such a big deal that Giselle was there and thought, and yada yada yada. So I thought it was just going to give more than what it was. It really didn't give that much, no shade. But I agree. Giselle was just on the Breakfast Club saying that the reason why Potomac works, or just Housewives in general works, is because in order for Housewives to work, it has to be a legitimate group of friends. And I feel like I do agree with that, but that's not necessarily what's happening in your cast. I think that, again, I do feel like Wendy really, where is your footing? Who is your best friend? Who is your close source? I feel like it's either way, this or that with everybody when it comes to Wendy. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one is close with her and no one is too distant from her. It's like everybody keeps her at medium length. And I don't know if that's a good strategy to have as a housewife, because you kind of isolate yourself out and create an island. And then people find it hard to interact with you. I feel like she should have, if she was going to lean into this whole Giselle friendship, then lean into it. Like, it's even that is giving like, I want to be her friend, but I'm not trying to be too fake, but I really do want to be her friend, because we see you cackling when she does the little joke, and we also see Giselle and Giselle's trying to be your friend. She's like, honey, they want us to fix it, so let's fix it. So I do wish that Wendy did come off a little more authentic, and I'm gonna give you a little sneak peek. There is a scene that I really didn't like in the future where Mia is wearing the same dress that she's wearing, and she's in confessional. She says, "She's serious. I literally just wore that." And then they played the confessional, and then the next thing she said in scene was, "Oh my God, Mia, you look so beautiful." And to me, it's just like, if you're gonna be faking confessional, but then give the girls their flowers in scene, that to me is like, I can respect that. Like, I like that when a housewife does that, to me, that's like the biggest ick, because it's like, you're literally fake as fuck. Like, you're giving something different in the confessional than you're giving it to her in scene. So that's really weird. But yeah,
if they're playing that, if my imagination serves me correctly, they're playing that scene to them, or they're going over the scene before the confessional, before they react in confessionals. They're showing them what happened, or they're showing them what's happened, and they, hey, react to this. What was going through your mind when you saw this? And then what we see in the confessional is their response. So it's not like it wasn't fresh in her mind that this was what happening, and then I can change my answer. You know what you said, and now you're choosing to say something else.
Yeah, and you literally see her in scene, like, look at her, like, that is my dress, like, and then still tell her, you look beautiful. And I've seen a lot of moments like that this season where she has not, like, I'm like, that's not really what you think. And I'm just like, is it because you're trying to be like friends, because you want to show production that you can like be with the girls, like you don't get fired? Like, it's weird. Like, let's not lose ourselves over this show either. Like, if you really don't see it with any of these bitches, then still don't see it with any of them. They kept you. So if you don't see it with these hoes, don't see it with them. Don't be friends with them just because you think the audience wants you to be friends with them. Because look, we're not buying it. And that's what we tell the housewives all the time. If you do things that are not genuine, we're not going to buy it, even if you think you're selling it.
But also juxtaposed, I just feel like if I was in a show when these girls try to drag me through the mud, like I'm on the show, we're cool, but y'all not my good girls like that. I don't see it for y'all.
And I don't know why you're not demanding production to bring one of your good girls on. Like,
but to your point, one says she don't have no good girls, but Kiana's supposed to be her good girl. She ain't even treating Kiana like that's her good sister. Like she didn't want to share a room with her last season. She went out, she's like, oh, I'm not sharing with Kay. And it's like, well, girl, I mean, what the hell? Like, what do you mean? You know what I'm saying? That her birthday trip, you don't really see them interacting as if they were real friends. And I know that, you know, we have these stories of housewives coming through, certain housewives and them not really being friends, they're really being tested and whatnot. But Kiana has been around at events off camera and they have demonstrated that they had a real friendship. So it just doesn't seem to me that, you know, Wendy really is interested in really being close with anybody. You know what I'm saying? It just, I don't know. I just think that she's here for another notch on her belt, which is what a lot of Africans do, is that they just want success. So the fact that she was the first Nigerian American means everything to her. The fact that she was like all of these things, she likes to want to tout her resume. And that's what a lot of them do. As long as it looks good on their resume, they don't care.
Yeah, I find it so weird, their relationship with her and Kiana. Like, are you guys close? Are you guys not that close? There's something that she reveals later on that I'm just like, so you are close with her. You know, like Wendy knows Kiana's mom and she talks to Kiana's mom more than she talks to Kiana.
Yeah.
That's weird. Like, that's weird as fuck because you don't talk to her in scene.
At all.
So to me, it's weird that you know someone's mother and you're that close with her. But then when you're in scene, it's kind of like this is just another person.
Right.
It's
right.
so weird. It's so weird. Oh my God, Potomac is just so. Oh my God. Karen and Ray address tension in their 28. This is fake to me. I'm sorry.
I'm so tired of hearing about the institution.
Karen, this institution is not going anywhere. Please. Ray's not leaving.
Sure.
And you don't care what Ray's doing. And Ray doesn't care what you do. You guys have an institution. It's past a marriage at this point. Please. Like, I hate that Karen always tries to give us the marriage has been hard, like, storyline every season. Like, ma'am, we don't believe it. Like, until Ray puts you out on some shit. Like, Ray is always so nice on camera. I just don't see Ray, like, and Karen ever, like, really breaking up with each other. What do you think about the girls thinking that Stacey's man is gay?
Me?
Go ahead, Tom. The issue I have with these girls is they do that in a derogatory, like, it's homophobic to me. Okay, he's
to us.
I just don't get it. Like, why is this a dagger?
Right.
You ever see that Azalea Banks clip? And she's like, so what now? Like, you know, I think anytime they see a guy that has non-toxic traits, a little more in tune with his emotions,
flamboyant, maybe
flamboyant, or just has a bigger, shinier personality, then they jump to he's queer, he's gay, he's this and that as an insult, as a dagger. I think it's strange. It's very strange. Like, are y'all okay? Is everybody okay? That's how
I agree. I think there was a moment that Andy called this out to the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and I think it was about Kim Fields' husband at the time, and he was a dancer and he had a lot of gay friends, and you know he was just really comfortable with himself, and they made it seem like it was big it was. And Andy he stuck their feet to fire and said, you women are coming across homophobic when you say this. And so I agree with Ricky, and also to me it is a bisexual erasure that's happening in Black culture where you just can't be a Black man and you like both, right? Even if that was or wasn't his scenario, what does it matter to you, right? I love that Stacey was like, I'm standing behind her man. She's just like, whether that's her man or not, whatever. She was just staying like, Giselle, whatever, you can, stay alone, kind of thing. I don't like the implication that TJ is gay. Whether if he is or not, that is his own prerogative to decide. And if he is experiencing a journey within himself where he's dealing with women or whatever the case may be, let him do that. I don't think that it needs to be, and we need to also hold the producers accountable, because it's all of this stuff. As soon as somebody could potentially be gay, that becomes immediate news, right? Just to compare it, Martell, apparently somebody just said that Martell likes to have, and then that just went right. But for what? right? Because it's this sensationalism of sexuality that has become not about a person's well-being, right? Because then when somebody comes down and says, "Oh, I'm gay," well, "Oh, I knew you was gay." Well, why didn't you never create a safe space for me to come out sooner? If you knew, turn it on. It's not on. The brain's not on for people, and they want to come across supportive. People want to come across as if they're not, prejudiced against people who deal with the same sex. But the reality is, it has been deeply ingrained into our people to be on the opposite side of those who agree with same gender loving. And I think it's super unfortunate because you start to categorize people who aren't even in these boxes you put them in, because people are living different lives. Like there's so many feminine men who are dicking women down, okay, fingernail polish and all. But does that make them gay? Like, what's not if a gay man can have sex with a straight woman, does that make him straight? You all likely can still call him gay. So I don't understand the psyche behind it either. And I think it is super weird for grown people to make this a bigger deal than what it is.
Yeah, I think there's, like you guys both said, it's definitely a bunch of nuances. Specifically, even like when you think about like the Ashley of it all, her identifying as a bisexual woman herself, and then also being so ignorant when it comes to the what if of TJ's sexuality. Also,
especially considering how they ridicule Michael and call him gay for touching men's butts. She was defending him.
Right. So I find it like from her end, I find it like super annoying because it's like, okay, like you are supposed to be queer and you're also perpetuating this toxic, behavior and just not good. But then also in the sense of like Black women need to accept that if a man talks to you nice, that does not make him less of a man. If a man is willing to treat you like a regular like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like sometimes we're so used to like roughness and not being treated like a flower or something, that when you see men that are soft and that are well groomed and well spoken and they care about your emotions and they care about not the regular things, you start to think like, is this nigga gay? Like, what? No.
I do call that I don't, because as a woman, right?
Go ahead.
For men and women, I think it's not a male or woman thing, but I think it's the toxic patriarchy that our community, that we're both ingrained and raised on both sides, right? Where I feel like the hate and the vitriol that men in our community have for gay men is, I feel like it's really envy of freedom, right? I don't get to be an autonomous person. I don't get to, wear bags and wear the shoes I like and do the grooming I like, and for fear that I'll be ridiculed in this way. When I feel like a lot of men are homo romantic, which just means like they see women and it's like they want to frolic, they want to go on dates with their homies, they want to do this and that, and I think it's like a jealousy there that women get to do that with their friends and men. And I feel like women perpetuate that, where you see joy or romance or feelings as a feminine trait, right? So I think that instead of a human trait, like we all want romance, we all want to be romance, we all want to express feelings and have our feelings be received. We all want to be soft and emotional and vulnerable. That's what all humans need to survive. And so we get into these gender specifics where it's just like, because I'm not used to seeing that this is this negative thing in our community, when really I think that the more in touch a man is with both sides of him, the more healthy he is as a person, and women too, because women get, especially Black women, she's masculine, she's, whatever. So I think that we have to start looking at people as human beings that need the same things we need. And then if we start viewing people that way, then we won't get caught up in what's feminine and what's masculine and what I'm supposed to like and what I'm not supposed to like, because I genuinely believe sexuality and gender and all of that is a spectrum, right? So, I love the grass. So,
and I mean, you mentioned Martel, and I think that's why he's in the situation that he's in, because he is a man that probably likes to fuck on male booty and can't, because he is stuck in this damn closet, and he's stuck in this damn closet because of the way
that's a little different from what I'm saying, but yeah.
No, in the sense of like wanting everybody to just live their truth, you know, like that breeds toxic closet DL men that then go and
Martel being gay is used as a dagger. Okay, like that's what I don't like. Okay, he's gay. I think the bigger issue is that he's a narcissist and an abuser. Just like when everybody was saying, "Oh, Diddy's gay." Okay, but that's not. Oh, stop the press. He's taking it from people. They're not willingly giving it, and that's the issue. You know what I mean? So I just hate that we're so homophobic as a community, and it really just it gags and goops me personally. Yeah. Married to Medicine.
Married to Medicine. Quad's boyfriend. He look good. He's cute. She did good. Surprises her with a white Rolls Royce, solidifying his provider status. Quad reveals plans to start IVF soon, hoping for twins. What do you guys think about Quad's new life?
I like that she introduced. I like that the issue with the girls were having in her group was that she wasn't sharing things with them, and so I do like, even though that they were dating for a year before, I do appreciate that she took the time to give individual introductions to him, to her friends and whatnot. So I thought that was great. I don't like that they're trying to make her seem bad for not introducing them to her, namely Simone. Girl, me and you are not speaking terms after you brought my niece up in New York. And I love that they always refer to New York when they talk about the reunion, but you know that we ain't cool.
I hate that. I hate that.
I love it.
I love it.
You can't break the fourth wall and say at the reunion. You have to say New York. That was the last time we saw each other.
But it's so annoying because it's like they don't continue it through all the shows. So it's like if you let it Beverly Hills,
I wish it was continuity. But I do like the girls that pick up what's supposed to be put down.
Like, right.
You know, like girls say what was supposed to be said, but I like that she's kind of stuck to her guns. Like, I'm not going to introduce somebody who I'm trying to build a serious relationship to women who kick me out of a trip in Napa and I don't even know if they cool with me. You feel me? So I'm going to introduce him to y'all on my terms. It's going to be at a party that he paid for. Thanks for coming.
I love that.
The thing that really grinds my gears about these Married to Medicine girls, outside of the classism and elitism and that Jackie is the real villain, is that like we all cool. Like, you know how you're a part of a large friend group, and then out of that friend group you got two good girls, and then everybody else just like, we kick it. I know your husband, you don't mind. We went to school together, but you're not my good girl. And so when they be coming at Quad, I'm just like, it's clear for me to see that y'all not good girls. So why do y'all have this? Y'all all came together, and that was public knowledge, saying that y'all put a concerted effort, like y'all did Mariah, to try to get her off the show. Right. So that lets me know that you're not my friend. So I'm not going to tell you about my relationship, especially when y'all banded together to bring my ex-husband who abused me and his new girlfriend on the show, and then was running around saying that she was prettier than me. And then when we would see her, we were all gagged and gooped because I don't know what they were talking about. Okay. And then y'all tried to bring it on and rub it in my face, but I'm supposed to feel safe to bring my relationship with you and talk to you about my relationship when you just,
yeah.
Like, oh, is it cognitive dissonance? Like, I don't understand it. And I guess it's a show, so Quad can't really say that. But I'm like, Simone, you've been to I ain't see it for you, sis. I don't know what you're talking about. Right. I have no idea what you're talking about, Simone.
You that sweet tea read, honey.
It's only because you would have thought she was Halle Berry. Were they not telling her like, oh, this
girl,
Dr. G? She's so.
She got on there. You know what? Wait, you know what? That's what we get for listening to Cecil and Simone. That's what we get, because why are we listening to Cecil and Simone talking about he's never been fat before? Like, see, please. That's what we got. Talking about Cecil and Simone.
Yeah.
They went over to clean their son's messy ass apartment in hazmat suits. But there was over the top reactions on social about this. Some castmates saying at the girl Moot said, Cecil and Simone got their sons an apartment, pays for it, furnished it, cleans it, washes their laundry, and probably buys their groceries too. And then at Kite Fetus responded and said, why is this a problem when it's for young black people, but not when white people are taken care of by their parents for their whole lives? Demonizing generational wealth in black communities is one of the many examples of how we hold ourselves back.
That is not nepotism.
Now,
not knowing how to wash your clothes and clean up your apartment is not. Fine. They have an apartment, it's paid for. They don't have to worry about debt. They're in school. They get their groceries paid for. Phone. I'm all for that. But at some point, you have to prepare your kids for life. And what we know about young black men is they seem to get really coddled in black households, and then the onus will then fall on the wife or the girlfriend. You should know how to cook yourself a meal. You should know how to wash your clothes. You should know how to properly clean your bathroom in your house. That's not nepotism. I know a lot of rich white people whose kids know how to clean.
And if you don't know how to clean, you should be able to have enough money in your checkings account to get it cleaned.
Yeah, I just don't think that them cleaning their house is nepotism. I don't know what they're talking about.
How do you see it, Thomas?
I think that the way in which they produced that scene made the reaction what it was, because they didn't have to come in there with the hazmat outfits. That's their storyline, right? And I think that after Simone and Cecil went through that almost getting divorced situation, that they don't ever want anybody to see the cracks and crevices in the relationship anymore. So they're going to push other storylines to the forefront, and this one with their kids being in this apartment and giving them this whole, because we saw this last season, giving them this contract saying you're here for 1 year with no rent, you're here for 2 years with no rent, and is their way of trying to keep their family unit together and still purport themselves to be the family of the show. Because we don't see Jackie and her man with no kids. We only see Toya and Eugene with kids, and we see Simone and Cecil with theirs, right? So they're looking to be like the couple that is kind of the quintessential one.
You have Heavenly with her kids, but
you did have Heavenly with her kids, but now her daughter's away. Like their kids are away, right? And when Zachary just came back, and now he's a professional, right? Mm-hmm. We don't see them taking care of their kids the way in which Cecil and Simone.
Right. We've definitely grown up with those kids.
Yeah, and so I think I don't see it as nepotism, though. I don't understand the backlash with people saying that their parents pay for their apartment. I mean, I think we all would have appreciated some free rent in the earlier part of our 20s. That would have set us up for life in a way in which a lot of us didn't have parents that are able to do so. We're also starting to see, I think Ricky mentioned it earlier, but we're starting to see a tinge of jealousy from the community that didn't have that given to them, right? Like, you don't see people's parents being able to provide generational wealth or opportunities for people to be able to provide that for themselves. So when you see it happening for someone like you, it's just like, oh, you didn't get it out the mud. You didn't work hard. You didn't do this and that or whatever. Your journey doesn't matter the same way that mine does, which I think is false. But I do think that there is a warped sense of reality that these people in these positions do have, because you accomplishing or getting to the job that's in the same company that someone else who has to work from scratch doesn't mean that y'all are the same level of talent. And I think that needs to be explained too, because some people just have unequal playing field based on what their familial history is, and we have to acknowledge that. And it's not saying that people are better than where another person comes from. It's just that you were a little bit more set up than another, and I think it's okay for Black kids to be able to reap that benefit. But to Ricky's point, there should be a stage, especially for men, that you have to be able to demonstrate that you can lead a household.
Yeah,
and you can only do that by.
I find it embarrassing, honestly. Like, y'all going to our apartment to film, and then y'all are gonna make us look like dirty ass grown ass men, because they're grown as fuck. So it's like, y'all just, honestly, that's embarrassing. Like, if that would embarrass me. But I do find it corny when people try to make it seem like kids have to like get it through the mud. Like, at the end of the day, like, if my parents wants to give me something, I'm gonna take it. Like, white people do it all the fucking time. Y'all not about to tell me that I'm not about to reap the benefits of my parents' hard work. Like, fuck out of here. Like if my parents want to give me something, I'm gonna take it, and it is what it is. Don't be mad that your parents can't give you anything. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it's no shade, but it's like Ricky said, like a lot of people don't like to reflect in the sense of like I didn't have it, so like they shouldn't either. But I find that corny. Like it is what it is. Some people have it, some people don't. Keep it pushing. Toya grilled Apollo. The one time she saw him. Yo, that's crazy because I can totally see Toya going into Whole Foods and Apollo coming out and like, you know, clocking the look and being like, wait, Apollo, so is it true that and just like grilling Apollo like in the middle of the Whole Foods line, like. So, and Apollo went back and told Phaedra, you know, like your friend Toya had a lot to ask me the other day. I don't know what that's about. I find it funny as hell that Phaedra does not let Apollo in the house.
Apollo, go away from me with this.
Like, I find it hilarious that like literally you see Phaedra inside the house and then like the whole camera crew had to come outside because she don't let Apollo in the house. But at the same time, it warms my heart to see Apollo and Phaedra still be, you know, in a place where they can co-parent, you know, because that was a relationship that we saw go up and down on RHOA. So to see them being in a what seems to be a non-toxic co-parenting from what we can see on Marriage to Medicine, shout out to y'all. The newlyweds talk about starting a family despite Sweet Tea's endometriosis. Something that really disturbed me from this scene was that Greg, you know, when they were talking about when Sweet Tea was like, oh my God, like I love this nerdy look on you. And then Greg was like, no, I like it on you. Like, I love that, like, doctor, I need help. Like, you're an intern and I'm the doc. Like, I found this so weird that he went straight for that description of like, you're beneath him at an intern position and like he's the head doctor. Like I was like, that was to me that was weird. But yeah, do you think Sweet Tea is gonna give Greg some kids?
God willing.
No. Sweet Tea knew she couldn't have children before she talked to that man. I'm so sorry.
Y'all are crazy.
She knew she could not have children.
Why are y'all so silent?
I'm just being so serious now.
I was trying to be nice about it.
But let's be real about it. You knew, okay? Like you're young. You're considered. You know. You telling me the first time that you went to go and try to see you having children was now, you know, and got married. Like you're a Southern woman. They prep y'all for marriage or for kids or whatever. So like if you ain't have none by now.
No shade. I want to do a deep dive episode about Sweet Tea's her certain testimonies and debunking them, because I like you have to watch the show and fact check her, because I've definitely seen her like contradict herself just in between confessionals type shit. So I do
what she's doing. She does not know what she's doing. She is out of her element, and unfortunately these girls are running circles around her, and she's trying to now she's fighting her season 1 battles this season, and the girls have already moved on to something else, and she's trying to catch up from last season. No ma'am.
I kind of feel a little bad for her.
In what way?
You know, I do feel like they kind of befriended her because they wanted to use her as like a dagger or a target against Quad, and when it fell flat they kind of like, you know, threw her to the fire.
Will she allow herself to be used in that way as well?
That's what I'm saying, because no shade, like they should have opened the focus group or something, because I could have told you that was gonna fall flat. Like if they went when they pitched this idea to producers, and then producers said, let me see the girl that you guys speak of, and then Sweet Tea showed up, I would have been like, scrap this.
Not scrap it, y'all.
Because that only works if Quad cares.
If Quad cares.
If Quad cares and interacts with Greg and interacts with the
and the only way that Quad cares is if she's better than her.
The only and it worked when Phaedra stormed her up into that goddamn bachelorette party. At work, we got drama, we got, you know, tears, we got an episode.
But no shade, why did it work? But no, why did it work? Because the batter ex girl was showing up,
came through and crashed the party.
I just don't see a world where Quad is pressed about Sweet Tea in anyway. So I'm gonna need even them to stop making it seem like they're pressed about each other, because you guys are not. I feel like low key, I'm not saying you guys gotta be besties, but I feel like let the walls down. There's no reasons why you need to have walls for her and she needs to have walls for you. You guys don't see each other at all. No shade. So it's like
she don't need to be there. She doesn't have any relationship to the cast, to be honest. And going through Greg, who has a strained relationship too with his Napoleon complex, he should go too. I would have been much more interested to see Dr. Alicia and her man come back and seeing the dynamics between American men and African men. I would have loved to see him kind of borrow from the men, and I would love to see that.
Because we kind of saw that dynamic already when she was there last season, and we saw the men didn't kind of agree with some of his stuff.
That would have been good to continue this season versus we trying to make a cow have a calf. It's not going to happen.
Or them trying to make Dr. Damon and Dr. Craig beef when the fact that they even got Dr. Damon trying to get into the men's show. I'm like, what is going on? We kind of see the tease that at this trip is when Contessa whoop or tries to whoop Heavenly ass. So how do you think this trip is gonna go? And what do you guys think about glamping? I feel like it's funny that Phaedra is putting glamping together because glamping didn't go too well for her in season 6. But anyways, go ahead. You can hear the crickets in the back, Shy.
You know, these girls, man. It's been a lot of. I think Phaedra, I think she serves as a good buffer. I've always said I don't think she's a good fit for this particular franchise. Only if she would have came back as the Phaedra we grew to know and love. So it's like whatever. I don't know. I feel like because Phaedra's whole life has been on TV, I don't know what the girls want her to say. There's not too much going on with y'all.
Right.
My whole life is played out. Some of my worst character flaw moments are everybody knows the worst.
Yo, wait. When they said, what do you tell the kids? And she said, they read.
Like, are y'all okay? Like, this is it's all out there. They know what's going on. This is the public knowledge. So it's nothing left for me to do. He's dying because it's
y'all pressed about something my kids not pressed about.
There's nothing left for me to do but key and have fun and drop a funny moment here and there. It's nothing about me y'all really don't know.
And I think that she literally goes into it like that. Like she literally goes into it like that.
And they know that. The cast members know that, which is why Toya had to talk to Apollo. Because what are you getting from Apollo?
Nothing. And Apollo probably was like, girl,
I don't even know her. I can't even go to her house. So I don't know what's going on.
I don't know that lady no more.
You don't know her. So that was them trying to get something on her because everything, especially with the popularity, how she's risen from the phoenix from the ashes within the last 18 months, we've really started to see a resurgence of Phaedra, and I think they wanted to cut her down when they really should be thanking her for bringing more eyes to the show, to be honest. I'm not saying that nobody's watching Married to Medicine, but a lot more people are watching it now than they were before, and maybe they always should have been watching it, but Phaedra did what she was supposed to do, which was to bring more attention to the show, never to integrate with the girls. I think the girls thought that they was on the same playing field. And if I'm Phaedra, in my mind, my long game is always to get back to my house.
Exactly. I got back to
so if I had to get on Married to Medicine to get that route back, then cool. And I'll play with y'all. But y'all, we're not on the same playing field. Y'all not seeing y'all not picking up what I'm putting down. Right. And you can tell that I think in the middle of it clicks for them, which is why they start going so hard for her. And I don't know when they announced her coming back or whatever, which is why she only has 2 weeks on Housewives, but it was like you can start to see it. I think people are really jealous of Phaedra and how she was able to leave that situation. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, it paid in her favor that Candy didn't want to sit down with her because we don't know what Real Housewives of Atlanta will look like if we did have the aftermath of a conversation and then people be able to take accountability or Phaedra sit there and we don't know what would have happened. Right. But it paid in Phaedra's favor that she didn't have to go through the aftermath of that, lay low for a while, then pop back up, and then literally her season of Traitors broke the streak that RuPaul's Drag Race had as best reality television show competition
on the Emmys.
That's for the Emmys. So like the girls, they can't take Phaedra. They're jealous of her, and then she's back in the good graces of the fans everywhere. It's just like we need to do something.
Get to know you. What makes you mad? Like, girl, what are you talking about?
Like, girl,
when she said that, I'm like, how do you answer that? Like, what makes you mad? Like, well, you'll find out. Like, I don't know. Like, and I feel like Phaedra's reaction was kind of like, girl, why are you trying to argue? Like, I'm like you said, Thomas, like, I'm just supposed to come here, Kiki, have a cute Kiki, give the girls joke, give the girl cute confessionals, and like, and y'all just supposed to like low key, like, be in my presence and act like y'all fuck with me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
y'all can't even read with me in the Atlanta Girl, so I'm not even about to waste my time.
Why are y'all trying to make it problems with me when y'all low key all supposed to be just like happy that I'm here, you know? And I think she legitimately sees it as that. Like, I am the bigger reality star. My name rings bells bigger than the show itself. So why are you guys not acting like my being here is not just even better for everybody?
Right.
You know? And she wishes they were a little more cognizant of that on camera and stayed out of her way and just she wants the same energy she got season 1, her first season of Married to Medicine. She wanted that same energy again this season. But the girls, I feel like the girls know that going for Phaedra would be good TV, which is why Toya is doing it. Do you see a future for Phaedra? I mean, I feel like we know the answer to that here, but she would never be back on Married to Medicine, right?
No, once she leaves, when that preview of her leaving the trip or whatever, because they wanted to bring Apollo and them on the trip, I was like right on Phaedra, because I honestly, if I'm her, I don't need this. So if this is what you think is going to bring you the show and you want Apollo and his girl here, then see how the ratings do with them and not me. I'm out of here. And that's knowing your worth, right? That's knowing that you have the leverage now in a relationship that always had the leverage over you. I'm gonna jump to the next show, and y'all can deal with this sinking ship and figure out what you're gonna do with Apollo and his new woman while I'm back on my show. So I don't see a future for her coming back on the show. I think that, like I said, this was her gateway back into Housewives. So her going back on Married to Medicine would just be redundant.
It would just be a check pickup. All right, girl.
And not even that big of a check, no shade.
No shade. I hope it works out for her. I hope that her 2 weeks on RHOBH makes sense. And I mean, she was able to snatch the peach just in the last 2 weeks. So let's see how that plays out. Let's see how that it's even edited into the show. I am very eager for RHOBH season 16 because there's just so many things to see how they play out. Those producers and editors have a lot on their hands. Praying for them.
The clip that we see, I don't know, at Bravo Fan Fest, the clip that we see of Portia, and which I thought was comedic, and I know it was set up because there's no way she's standing in the middle with the elevator claps her butt. But I thought it was great. But it's even shot differently, right? It has an air of Dubai with it.
An air of Peacock.
Professional, yeah. It's giving a little different tinge to it. So that does excite me. And then all of the other drama surrounding. Y'all know I'm still waiting for the Queen to return, but they are winning me over with the casting decisions of this season. So we'll see.
They need to bring Nene back next season, and they need to bring Mariah back to Married to Medicine. And then we have TV.
Honey, if there's a God, he will hear you.
Yes.
I think that if the Queen comes back to Real Housewives of Atlanta, I want to see, if Andy's able to reconcile, what's her name, with Carol Radziwill or whoever it was. Yeah. You can have this. Think of the Watch What Happens live ratings when you bring the good sister back. You thought Tamara's return was something, that was nothing.
My whole thing is like, do these people not know this?
The 180, I don't know what.
Give your SOC take, go.
Just real quick, I don't know what voodoo Angie K put into this season, but the 180 I've done on her has even shocked me. I love Angie K this season.
I love Angie K.
Oh, she is eating it for me.
Through Mary, though.
If you see this girl, my personal thoughts, I apologize for them. You are my girl now. I'm married now. I could never give any of the other girls a 10. But the show is doing really, really well this season. For a dismal beginning for me, the show was doing really, really well, and I love that
Separation from Lisa. that friendship dissipating from Lisa is why we get her actual personality.
Angie is eating it, and that's why she's Jenna Flake. That's why she is next to Andy. It's why she is twirling. She does. I will say her mouth does go a little far.
It doesn't go far enough for me,
but I like it. I'm not gonna hold you. I like it.
I like it.
Angie, I think all of the new girls are clocked in too, which makes it fun. You know,
this show is insane. Like this show. Sometimes I'm watching Salt Lake City and I'm like, you cannot script this shit. Like you literally, these women are killing each other at a dinner table, and then when there's 5 seconds of silence, Brittany screams from the end of the table, "But what about me?"
Seriously, you guys, what about me? I literally, I can be sitting here saying nothing, and that will literally pop in my head. And I don't like the girl. She should never been on my screen.
I hate her. She's hilarious. She's hilarious. The other day they're talking about someone's son. I forgot. I think
I like her on the show. I don't like her character.
Yeah, they're talking about Lisa's son, and she's like, well, you guys, that's not nice, because the other day I opened up that I'm talking to my daughter again, and no one cared.
She's so self-absorbed, and it's not even funny. I like her for what her quirkiness gives, but she could never have a snowflake, and I could never give her a 10.
Yeah, I think she's good Marlo.
She provides the comedic relief, I think, for the show in a way in which people aren't laughing with her. They're clearly laughing at her. And I think that is what brings the show a little bit of, because you got the quirky Mary, when she's kind of quiet, this is my personality, I'm being who I am. And then Brittany has more of the control, because she's actually talented. She gives credence to the phrase, being an artist is the best excuse for being crazy. Because the woman she's unhinged when the cameras come on. And like, even so that Heather said that she regrets bringing her on the show, which I'm interested to see the Watch What Happens live episode with them both sitting there. I haven't watched that yet, but I want to see what she thinks about her now that they're sitting together.
Heather or Lisa, it's like you're trying to make fetch happen and it's never going to work, Gretchen.
At Meredith's bat mitzvah, when all the drama was going on and Heather was nowhere to be found, I said, this show can do without her. It could do without Whitney too. Whitney going to the end of that couch for the reunion. We might not see her next season. And I thought she was going to be the future of the show, but the other girls have stole her thunder.
But I think let's keep it the way it is. I actually really like this cast. I think let's give this cast another season. I think that Bravo needs to get back to cultivating cast.
Yes.
Like I need Bravo to, like, when you have it, keep it.
But the problem with Salt Lake is that they were casting. All of the shows may have cast fans of the show. They never cast a super fan that had a blog and that was going around doing the tea. So when you're trying to find girls, and also Salt Lake is really small from what I'm hearing. My sources saying when they're doing shows, the girl that's on Salt Lake was trying to be on Salt Lake, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, and apparently
they don't know each other. One of the girls that. I
also think Heather had a lot more to do with that blog.
Yeah. So like they're trying to find like people who actually are real people who are actually like living their lives without really caring about how they look on reality TV. I think it's difficult for a city like Salt Lake, but they struck gold with someone like Bronwyn, who I think she straddles the fence on being a little bit too overproduced and being just an uppity type A authentic. But I think she's super type A. So for you to bring these $600 passport covers for these girls on a trip that's not even yours after being ravaged by a dog, which I think completely got skimmed over. The woman looked like she almost lost her life.
It's a lot of things. It's no shade, but it's a lot of things about Bronwyn that gets skimmed over because she's very liked. Like I find it interesting that no one has mentioned how she has a fucking black accent that I don't know where it comes from.
I never heard that. I have to listen.
Girl, I'ma say it. They did a compilation on Twitter, and I was like, where was this? Like, and I can't believe
I just don't hear it in the way that's. But I also think that AAVE has been co-opted into like young lingo. So we hear black accent because it is black, but white people have taken that as Gen Z language, or so it's like an interesting.
Correct.
Thing. I like Bronwyn. I like that she does read in a way that's black to me. Like you have bass in your voice. That's a very black thing to say. Not too much. Calm down. So I don't know. I like these girls. I hope they get longevity. I would like to see Jen return. And then after her getting out of jail. Yes. Yeah.
I'm actually very uninterested about Jen Shah.
I don't know. I want her and Heather to talk about why she punched her all upside her head.
I think that Jen Shah could leverage a show on on any streaming network. I think any streaming network will be willing to pick up that story for whatever little check is gonna bring in when it airs. But you know, I don't know. I feel like Jen Shah her level of toxicity is so toxic that I feel like we have something so good right now. I don't know if Jen Shah is gonna.
Is she more toxic than a Kenya? Is she more toxic than some of these girls at Heavenly? I don't know. Is she more toxic than
Not even that. I don't even think it's the toxic thing that's the issue. I think that we also, in the age in which we elected a convicted felon as president, that we should not be rewarding someone who scammed old people out of their money. This is different than Teresa going to jail for something her husband did. This is a woman who scammed people. We need to be serious about what our ethics and morals are in the country.
And she said the Jen Shah movement.
Okay, Gag.
She should not be
I forgot what she went to jail for. He's right.
No, and she said that, and she literally sat there and said, "I'm fighting for my life,"
like R. Kelly in that clip.
And lied. Times, knowing that he lied. No.
Oh my God! And then she pled guilty. Yo, that woman is psycho.
Nah, Jen's sick. She's sick.
She is so sick. But yeah, no. It was really it warmed my heart to see Mary and Angie. Like, they really Mary hated Angie. Hated her. Didn't see it for her. And the way that they actually, like, that's one genuine friendship that I can actually feel it when I'm watching it. They missed each other. Angie was waiting for Mary to get to that trip.
What I want to call out is Mary is so shady in her movements, like her body. Like when she walked in the trip and saw Meredith in them, and she's like, like that's the nuance in Mary that makes her so
girl,
like,
how many times have a group of bitches that you don't fuck with ask you a question that you don't want to answer, and you literally lag in the moment, like, do I answer these bitches or?
It's just Mary.
She said, "Why didn't you come?" She said. She didn't want to open up about her son to these bitches because she know these bitches don't fuck with her and they really don't see her for her. Right. So what she's not gonna do is bow down to them. So instead of opening up and telling them what was happening, she said, "I'm here now."
But then you see Angie, she's all excited, like girls trip, you about to have a ball.
Girl,
I like how she was walking in the room. She was like, I said, "Okay, Mary got a little swag" when she walked in the room. I was like,
Mary, more of her personality. We need a real human being. But I do appreciate, which I feel like is similar to the Phaedras and the Nenes of the world, or just Black people in general. We can convey emotion through our body language, like
mannerisms, just existing. You remember when they were last season when they will do events and they will literally leave Mary in the Sprinter van and they will literally leave a producer and a camera on Mary and call it Mary Cam. Because it was funnier to see what Mary was doing in silence in the Sprinter than what the bitches were arguing about whatever they were doing in group scene.
My favorite Mary moment when she was like, "Women." That shit was so in her natural hair, picked up like she just washed her hair before she walked in to see us. Her women, she don't even look ignorant. Like, it's a key.
It's such a key. Some characters are literally made for television, and Mary is one of them. For sure. Shout out to her. I think that she's definitely one of the top reality TV stars of 2024 with everything that she's given to the camera. And shout out to Sutton for giving Mary her flowers on Watch What Happens Live. She said, Mary is the housewife right now. No other housewife is doing what Mary's doing. And I agree. No other when you have Kyle lying about being a lesbian and you have many other girls lying about some other shit, you have Mary over here legit showing you what's really happening in her house and also letting her son also be open about it too, you know, because she could have kept that very privately. And I know that she probably thought about that too. But it's been refreshing. I think she's taught so many lessons on how to deal with this in your household, specifically about Black household. So shout out to Mary and the work that she's doing on Salt Lake City. She deserves a raise.
She's really eating it. And I think it's also, I think it's, and this is the thing I'll say. I think that it's also interesting to hear producers say that they found Mary first out of all the girls and then decided to do a show there. But then you start to see that they bring people in like Jeannie, and then they allow Mary to get like treated the way they did in the show, the way she didn't even show for the reunion, which she is one of the only housewives to not show for the reunion and still be asked back to return. So I think it's weird that, like, it's interesting to see her being heralded in the way she is now, because if Salt Lake, if she's the reason why you came to Salt Lake, then it would make sense that you would want to build a little bit more around her and protect her a little bit more. And so I think that they're starting to see that she is the one out of these other girls. And,
I think they did that after last season, when they saw that the fans, they were just like, yep, this is our gem and we have to protect it and we have to do whatever we have to do in order to protect it. And I think they should kiss the ground that Mary's fucking.
You can tell, I can tell when they're holding back from going back and forth with her. Like, I can see it be like,
yeah. And
like,
I mean, Whitney comes off very performative when they're having conversation. A lot of girls, Lisa Barlow doesn't want to argue with her. You know, I see a lot of girls having that because, and I don't think that is because they don't want to go lash to lash, because they can. I think it's because they don't want the fandom. They know that the fandom loves Mary. And I think that a lot of them are so focused on being fan favorites and liked by the fandom that if that means...
And they love Mary. They're fans of Mary too.
Yeah. Well, that's all she wrote. Thank you so much for being with us, Thomas, and joining us on this conversation. We love it so much, and thank you for sharing your thoughts. I love talking to you because you're so insightful, and when you watch the shows that you're watching from that lens of like everything, you know. It's not just about the silly arguments, but it's so many more things that are happening. So shout out to you, and let the people know where they can find you and where they can, you know, stay in touch with you.
Yeah, you guys can connect with me at ThomasJ_ on Instagram. I'm not using Twitter anymore, but if you are on the bluer skies and Bluesky, you can follow me at ThomasJ Live. I'm over at Blue Sky as well. So I'm interested to continue to connect and build with the Reality Rundown, Reality Right After. This is the crew. I love talking reality with you in an outside chat. So this has been great this evening, chapping and talking it up. Always love.
And Ricky, REP, thank you so much. Of course, I'll see you next week. And to all of our castmates that listen to us every week, guys, thank you so much for listening to us. It matters to us so much. And again, subscribe and follow us. And for everything reality TV, follow the Reality Rundown. I love you guys. Bye.
Bye.